Alright, cool. So, the Android. And we are ready to.
Okay, we are down at the Olympia Health and Fitness today. This is our first episode of Brutally Honest. We are sponsored by the Olympia Wellbeing Academy, which is our charity, which is to reduce antisocial behaviour and knife crime in Sheffield. So, we've been working on that charity for the last few years. Also, we're looking for sponsorship if anybody's out there what would like to help. Anyway, without any further ado, we have got a very, very special guest today. His name is Danny McGregor. So if you want to introduce yourself to the people, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you ever so much, Trevor. And so like Trevor said, I'm Danny McGregor. And I've been asked to come on the very first episode to give my story of mainly the last couple of years, but also,
Okay.
where it came from and everything like that, I guess.
Excellent. So okay, Danny. Then, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of bring it right back to the beginning, so we can, so we know a little bit more about you. So, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from? How old are you?
Yeah.
How did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
Yeah. So I'm 30, 38. I need to get that right. 38. I know I still probably look about 21, Trev. So yeah, I'm 38. I'm from a little village called Cresswell in the Worksop area, Nottinghamshire.
Right.
I've never really ventured far from that. I've never been in the cities, living in the cities or anything like that. I've stayed a bit of a country bumpkin kind of thing.
Which is good,
I think so. I've enjoyed it. I've not missed out, I don't think, with that.
So obviously the country life. There's a lot of Southerners are moving to Sheffield and Worksop and these villages these days. So green living is I think it's a positive.
Well, that's it. And I think they've realised as well by paying like £1 million for a bloody shoebox size house in bloody London, and what you can get in these, out of the way kind of places is far, far better.
Yeah. So, so a little bit more about, your upbringing. So obviously you said you are 38.
38.
Yeah. So let's bring you a little bit back to when you was at school. So how was that? How was school?
Shit. School. Okay, so school. I wasn't a bad lad at school. I was a pretty good lad, I think, at school. But I couldn't be asked for school. I didn't particularly. I wasn't one of them that applied myself like everybody seems to think that you should do at school. I used to go to school for the enjoyment of meeting my mates and having a laugh. That was kind of my way through school. Grades wise were shit, but again, I was one of them kids that when we did his exams, I would finish within 5 minutes and be sat there looking at everybody else still taking an hour to do their exams. Not that I'd done it really quick, like I got the answers right. It was just I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I quickly wrote on whatever, and that was that.
What? So you? Yep. So you was guessing. You just kind of like guessed, the questions, and you wasn't really too concerned about the consequences.
Nope.
So yeah.
Didn't give a shit. It's like when it comes to see you, or as I've gone through bloody life, I enjoy just chatting to people, having a laugh, and one thing or another. And school was the same kind of thing. I didn't see the importance of it. I couldn't figure out the importance of school. And I'm glad, really, because like even now, a lot of people talk about it, that what they teach you in school's a load of crap. You know, they don't teach you the main, you know, the kind of basics of finance and all this kind of stuff, how to get in business in one thing or another.
100%.
You know.
I mean, one of the things I do think they should be teaching in school, you know, obviously from running different businesses and talking to different people, is money management. I mean, it's really important. You know, a lot of people, you know, sometimes it's not what you earn, it's how you manage your money.
Yeah.
You know, that's obviously a main point which I try and drive through to the young people, you know, with the charity, you know, about money management. You know, it's important. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I completely agree. From when I started getting into kind of business, I had to learn as I went on, and from when I was learning, I picked it up from like other business kind of folk. They're in a world of their own. Whenever you meet business people, like such as yourself and other business folk, I find they're in a world of their own. Outside of that, I can't help but say, and probably whether it's the right or wrong, but it's like sheep. Everybody else who wants to do a 9 to 5 and this and that, and it's just a brainwashed idea of how to live a life of whatever. But when it comes to, like you say, money management, God, what I've learned over the last the last 5 years, I wish I'd have learned that in school. Because what I've learned is so minimal at the minute, and it's really helped me kind of try to stay on a level head in one thing or another. But there's so much more to, like you say, like money management and finance and deals and all this kind of stuff, that if they'd taught that at school, I think I'd have soaked it up. Because I think as a kid at school, I knew I wanted to earn money. That's where I was. I knew that because I got into silly little things as a kid regarding money. And I think, unbeknown to me at that time, it was because I'd got a hunger to make money. I loved the idea of money. But there was nothing in school or anything to give me that focus on it, to grow up and do better regarding money in every aspect of it.
No, definitely, I agree with you there. Okay, so let's move on a little bit further than that. So obviously, you must have known, so you was obviously interested in money.
Yeah.
So you didn't really put school. You didn't put school. How can we phrase this? So school wasn't going to be the way for you to make money. It was sort of like something what you have to step over, not something where you're going to look at qualifications to get to a good job. You had a different agenda.
I think. So as I remember growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know what I wanted to do at like 20 years old. I can remember the point of when I knew what I wanted to do, but up until that, I didn't have a clue. I thought there was nothing out there. I'd done a few jobs. I'd gone to school. My grades were all right. They weren't the best by any means. They weren't the worst. I mean, I actually had a bit of a car accident whilst I was doing my exams, and which meant that I couldn't sit one or two of them. But anyway, the grades weren't great. I didn't give a shit. I wasn't bothered. The school was out. That was it. I've done. So I went to college. I wanted to do fitness. I wanted to do a fitness instructor and whatever. And so, like anything else, I did a few different college courses in one thing or another. At the time, there wasn't any money in being a fitness instructor because, like now, as you know, and as everybody probably watching this, over the last 5 years, and if I start rambling on about this, you know, cut it, tell me shut up, whatever, but everybody wants to wear spandex and whatnot now in a gym. Whereas 10, 20, 30 years ago, when I was with none of that, you'd be lucky if you got 10 people in a bloody gym lifting weights.
100%.
There was just none of it. So there was no money in it. Like now you get these influencers and whatever, and it's balmy. Good luck for them, great. So I did my college course. I was a lifeguard for a while on the council. You know, that kind of all right. Well, again, I was getting bored with that, and then I ended up dropping out. I think I did a few other bits, the other kind of jobs, but then I dropped out. And my dad at the time rigged up a job as a labourer with two of the local bricklayers. And at that time, I was partying. I was a young lad going out.
What age was you then?
Oh God, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 17, 18. You know, give or take a year. And I can remember going with these two bricklayers, and after like the first week or so, I was laid in the back of the car. They was in the front, and I was in the back. I got my head on and I was coming down. I'd been out that night before, and I'd been drinking. I'd been probably, you know, taking some nice little party bloody chemicals and whatnot. And so the next day I was on my ass, and I can remember my head was resting on the back, and I'm thinking, fucking hell. And those two are in front going, "Wait, look at this, look at this." And at that time they were getting paid a check, and they were going, "Wait, look at this, look at this." And oh, fucking hell. And I looked, and they went, "Wait," and they show it, and on the check was £1,000 each.
Wow.
And it was like a light bulb had just, boom, gone off. Because for what we'd done for that week, done fuck all, other than take piss, have a laugh. Yeah, they'd done a bit of work, but it weren't like work I'd known before. It wasn't boring. It wasn't, you know, taxing or anything. It was, we'd had a laugh, although they took the piss out of me all freaking week because I was new. And at the end of it, they got paid £1,000 each. I got paid fuck all, but
And sorry.
Wow.
So they were the bricklayers and you
Yeah,
were the labourer.
yeah.
So let's just get that
Yeah.
right. So you was labouring to these
Yes.
guys, the brickies, and they
Yes.
got £1,000
they got £1,000
for
apiece
1 week's work.
for 1 week's work, Monday to Friday. And on a Friday at that time, we finished early. And we'd probably start work round about, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And it was a factory. I can remember it. I can remember everything about that job because, as I say, it was a light bulb. That then was a light bulb. I remember everything about it, and that was the start of that. Triggered something. It was a hunger that has never left. You see it and you want it, and when you get it, it drives you more and more because you think, well, if I've got that, I'm going to get more and I want more, and
Right.
it pushes you more and more. But that was the first time ever I thought, I know what I want to do now.
So, okay. So your dad set this up, you said. So was he a builder as well?
No, my dad at that time, as a lot of folk from where they worked down the pit, then my dad, the pit's short and one thing or another, then he got into insurance. And whilst he was in insurance, I stole a shitload of money and hid it.
So he nicked the money from the insurance
I
company?
did.
You nicked the money,
Well,
right?
my dad was collecting the insurance money off all the people in the village. And so this is what I mean. These are things that, you know what I mean? You know when
Yeah.
you're young, you know, these are the signs that you're going to look out for, I think. And at that time, I must have only been, say, 9 or 10, 11 at the most. Because my mum and dad were still together then. And they
Right.
split up when I was about 11. And my dad used to collect all the insurance off of the folk in the village, and it was cash. And it used to put it in a cupboard. And I can remember, and it wasn't that I wanted to blow it or anything. It was just, I wanted the physical cash. At that age.
So you had that thing about money.
Yeah. And so I took it, I stole it, and then what I did was I hid it. I had a Mickey Mouse pyjama holder, and I stuffed it in my Mickey Mouse pyjama holder for weeks.
Wow.
And they went round all the shops in the villages and threatened the shops and one thing or another. And anyway, in the end, my granddad caught me in a shop buying a box full of football stickers. And what I can remember of it was at school when the football stickers were a craze, I wanted to fill my sticker book before everybody else. And the only way of doing it was to have loads of money to buy the stickers. And so so I thought, well, I'll put, 2 and 2 together and get 5.
Okay. So how was your relationship with your father?
Oh, not good at all now. I mean, we got after that. I was young then. It was one of them things. My mum and dad split up, blah blah blah, and my dad took a job as a prison officer at Ramby Prison, and we never got on since. He just, it was, yeah, we never got on since.
Right, so you want to expand?
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that?
I mean, yeah. So me and my father's relationship was always up and down. And growing up, I think the way I look at it, my dad took it on a job, and it changed his attitude towards everybody around him. He treated everybody like they were convicts, basically. He thought he could talk to everybody like a piece of shit and treat everybody like a piece of shit.
What, even including your
Oh,
mother?
yeah, including my mum, including me. It weren't so much lasses, it was the lads, especially me. You know, I got the brunt of it a lot, because once my mum and dad, it were knocking off, you know, behind my mum from somebody in the prison and whatnot. And so... You know, that's how it was.
Wow. So your father was a prison officer, and before that he was like going from job to job. Is that what he did?
Well, no,
with himself?
it was. So as I remember, he worked in the pit as a like deputy or whatever. Did quite, you know, down at that time. If you would, majority of people working down pit, especially down our end. So we're working down the pit. The pit's shut. He got a good job in the insurance. That were all, you know, one thing or another. And then he took on this job as a prison officer. And from there, he was working the landings. And then he took on a job as a gym instructor in the prison.
So was your father a big guy?
No.
Okay.
He just had a big gob. He wasn't a big guy at all. He was British. He actually was British Taekwondo champion under 21s.
Right. So he was an Andy guy, tough guy.
You know, you'd think it on paper. Yeah.
Did he ever used to want to practice his Taekwondo on anybody at home?
No. But like you know when you've got that at back of you, you know when you know what you've done. And then, you know, it does help, doesn't it, I guess? It does make you think you are a bit untouchable, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. So you had a pretty rough time with your father. So he was
up until a few years. Up until 4 years ago. I mean, seriously, it was, it were relentless sometimes with him. You'd have good times. But then he'd go and ruin it by opening his gob or getting involved with something, or, you know, just going back to his old ways. And at that age, when I'm getting older and I've got kids of my own, I just think, you know what, I ain't got fucking time for this.
And so what about your mother? So your mother was a different relationship?
My mum's sound, yeah. Yeah, we the look of it is, I'm from an absolute brilliant family, a big family. And we're all quite close, as in, you know, we live quite close and we're still close. And although my mum and dad split up, she wasn't disowned by my dad's side of the family. If anything, she was brought in more. You know, that's how our family was, and it still is. My grandma was the don of the family, and whatever she said, that's how it'd be. You know, anything had to happen, you'd have to run it through her, and it was, you know, that's kind of how it was. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, and, you know, a few things have changed, but, yeah, the relationship with my mum and everything is, it's still good.
Good. So, okay, so let's move on a little bit then. So, obviously, you're a big guy. You know,
I try, Trevor. I try.
You try. So I mean, how did all this start then? I mean, you obviously, you know, keep yourself in good shape. You're 19 stone. You just told me earlier on today. So I mean, a little bit about that.
So the way I got into this was at college doing the sports thingy, and it was Chesterfield College. Whilst I was in there, I was actually a skater, but I used to go on a skateboard and I used to smoke dope. I used to like enjoy a good spliff and one thing or another. And at that time, it was Chesterfield Football Club. They would send all their young lads. Pardon me, sorry. They would send their lads to Chesterfield College and they'd be in our class. And whilst we was in their class, there was me and two other lads. Mark and Danny. We were good friends going through college, and we'd have to do our fitness classes with this Chesterfield football lads, and they used to take the piss. And I can remember one day it was either me or one of the lads say, "Look, you know what? I tell you what, give us a few weeks, couple of months, whatever. I want to have a competition. Let's see who can lift the most." Yeah, and so that's how it happened. So whilst that happened, we found what was called Norotine Heavyweight 2. Can you remember? Norotine Heavyweight 2.
Can't remember.
Well, Norotine Heavyweight 2 at that time was based on Dianabol, the chemical breakdown of Dianabol. Little did we know, or did the guy selling it, well, they did know, but in actual fact, it was stronger than Dianabol. And now it's banned. They had to change the chemical makeup of it to be able to sell it again. Well, anyway, at that time, we were buying it over the counter.
And over the counter?
Over the counter, yeah, over the counter.
And what age was you then?
Fucking hell, 16, 17.
Oh.
So we was running this Norotine Heavyweight 2, and wow, between me and these two lads, we could feel a difference and we could see a difference. Well, when it come to having this bit of a competition with these so-called fucking I love me send bloody football twats, we thrashed them. We except on legs, and legs have never been my fucking strong point as it is. Yeah. But we thrashed them, and that was that. It was like, again, a light bulb moment, and I got addicted to it.
To lifting weights.
There was never. It was never about being body beautiful. Never being about body beautiful. It was always about, my body can do this. Well, what else can it do? If my muscles can grow this, where else how much more bigger, can they grow? If I can lift that weight, fucking hell, how much more weight can I lift? It was never about wanting to. I never knew about bodybuilding. I didn't know. It was just about pushing myself. And bodybuilding, and what became bodybuilding to me then was every single day. I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was passion more than anything.
And I find the passion in the gym seems to have left these guys today. When I run a gym, of course, and I look at a few people training. There is people with that kind of passion and drive still, but a lot of guys seems to be doing it for they've got an agenda.
Exactly.
They want to be an influencer. They want to be. Trying to get people on to like the videos. It's to set all the tripod up and get the music right. Obviously when we used to train like yourself, it was more, going into the gym and squatting until your nose starts to bleed. Yeah. That's all I knew about training. Yes. I didn't really know about, all this setting up and music. I didn't even listen to the music back in the day. It was more that. So I totally understand what you're saying. The love of that relationship you have with the gym and the weights. It was just electric.
It is. And a good friend of mine, they, at that time, they told me, let's say I was 20. I was maybe 19, 20 years old. And he said to me, he says, when you go to that gym, put on the same clothes as you training day in, day out. When you put them shoes on and you can smell he says, your brain will instinctively know that you're going to war, that you're going to battle.
That's right.
And it stays with me. And, and that's how I train my head. And I believe it. I don't fucking go and buy fancy clothes or whatever to look good in a fucking gym. I don't give a shit what you look like in a gym. I still wear a vest. I always have done. But I wear a vest because I like to see what I look like when I'm lifting the weight. And I still pose and I still... Well, I try to see the look of how the muscles are moving and making sure I'm doing what I feel right to me. But that's how I've trained. I wear the same clothes, I wear the same kind of shoes and one thing or another, and it's all about a mental thing. But like you say, there's a big difference now with folk. People go to the gym for a complete different agenda these days.
100%. And one of the things what I've
We used to scream.
used to
Trev,
scream.
you used to go to a gym, you used to train, you used to go there ready like a battle, and you pick them weights up, and it's like now, and we'll get onto this, like you say, the pain that you go through, nobody can understand that fucking pain. It's a pain, and the thing is, it's a pain that 2 minutes later, you put yourself back into it, and you do a set, and then you do it again. And it's a pain that nobody can get unless you fucking do it.
And that's the way we are. And, you know, one of the things I must say is, you know, what's really spoiled bodybuilding and the gyms these days are the new commercial gyms. You know, these places have got no soul.
No.
You know, they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, we've recently had one of the commercial gyms open nearby, you know, this gym. And a number of people have gone over there and checked it out.
Yeah,
You know, they try to sell it to them that they've got a sauna.
Yeah.
I mean, the sauna only it holds about 2 or 3 people, and it's a laser sauna.
Right.
Also, they've checked out some of their equipment, and you know, they've some come back to my place and said, "What a load of crap that is!
Yeah.
The music, the atmosphere, it's like a graveyard."
Yeah. And again, it's this is it.
Queuing for dumbbells. I mean, who wants to go to a gym and stand there for half an hour while somebody is filming on Instagram and queuing for a bench?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
You know, people might now, like if I go into a gym and I'm huffing and puffing, my attitude is a bit, I'm in there to work, I'm in there to do my shit. What I don't want is you there on your fucking phone, stood there with your mates, gassing, stood there trying to fucking... I get it, the pod things, I do it a little bit, you know, I get it. But don't fuck about taking all your time doing it or taking a quick... I see people going and doing the fucking exercise and they'll put the bags on the fucking shit. And I have to stand there and I fucking lose my shit. What I want to do is pick them up and just fucking launch them.
That's
But you
the
can't.
old school.
But you know, there were none of that. None of that. You should go to a gym and... no doubt, if I was training, you'd jump in with me, or I'd jump in with you, or I'd be like, oh fucking hell, and you'd lift it, and there's none of that.
There was none of that.
There's none of that anymore.
The thing is that some of those places are, you know, this actually killing the industry because the smaller gyms are suffering.
Yeah.
I've recently had a friend of mine. He's closing his gym down after 20 over 20 years. He's been open now. You know, he's a professional bodybuilder like myself, and he just said, you know something, I'm throwing the towel in. I'm going to just go and get my feet up on the beach. But you know what a waste because you've got all that knowledge. You've got these guys who have really done it all. They've got all this, you know, knowledge. You know, they can share to get the next generation to a higher level. Yeah. And they're just saying, right, if throwing the towel in and saying enough's enough. And it's a lot of it's down because recently he's had a couple of big chains open up, and they've got some of his members have gone to, you know, their place that the newer gyms, and you know, so he's thought, forget it, I'm not interested. And I just think it's a shame to see these old school gyms with all that knowledge, all that experience closing down.
It is, and again, you know, I think, you know, like this influencer stuff. You see these folk on like Instagram, these lads and lasses. I mean, it's no disrespect, fucking whatever. You know, that's your thing, great. Make as much money doing it, whatever. Make a living out of it, great. But what I think you're doing is you're killing bodybuilders, because, like you say, that guy, all that experience and everything like that, you cannot teach what he knows over a video, what he knows. And so, like now, what annoys me is these folk that think, oh, they're about fucking 9 stone wet through as it is, and they've got abs. You're gonna have fucking abs. You're born with them, and then they think because they look good in a camera, and they put some lighting on it. I can be a fucking influencer. I'm gonna charge this much because I'm fucking. You know, fuck all, pal. You know, fuck all. Your mate with thingy, who might be 50, 60, whatever, I'd rather have him teach because I know he knows the score. They're the people that should be teaching bodybuilders. If people want to learn how to be a bodybuilder or to actually use a fucking gym like this fucking gym. It's people like your mate that needs to fucking. They're the fucking ones that they need to be fucking.
100%. And you know, the last thing I'll say on this is that I remember when I was, just walked in the gym. You know, the guys that taught me were all, like Mr. Universe. There was Adrian Stones, Robert Wall. There was all these top amateur bodybuilders, all experienced guys. Roger Jones. There was from Woodseats Gym. There was all there. It was a really good vibe. There was all helping each other, and they really showed me how to go on. Within a few years of training. Then obviously I turned professional. But I would not have done it if I didn't get that schooling from the old school guys. They showed me, they taught me how to train properly, that hard. But these days, as I said, it's walking around in a fancy tracksuit with headphones on, fancy sports bottle, and it's...
You see them lift the fucking weight and they think... You'll see them... I've had enough of that. And I think, you fucking dick, you've got about another million in you. We could shout and bawl about this. I know what it's fucking like. I mean, I never gone on stage or anything like that. But I tell you, I grew. I knew how to grow. And it wasn't be fucking going... It was... You could feel the fucking muscles tearing. And like you said, nosebleeds, your eyes would be fucking bloodshot. They'd be fucking like that. That... were a good fucking rep. That were a good fucking
that's the way
set.
they used to do it.
And that way it's only... I believe that was the only way to do it. Yeah, and now you get these fuckers coming in and... I think fucking you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why, bodybuilding as a whole, really, to me, is a lot of other previous athletes, such as I remember Ronnie Coleman and one or two other people mentioning that the sport seems to be going backwards. The guys aren't really improving.
No, I completely agree.
And this is on the highest level now.
Yeah.
The bar was raised really high. In the 90s and the early 2000s, and it's just seems to be deteriorating. But I mean, okay, so we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
And obviously,
please no. Let's carry on talking about that as a subject that I can't. Yeah, I tell you, fucking. Fucking.
As you said, big guy. Yeah. I think you've got a lot of potential. I think you definitely. If you ever want to compete, come and see me. And I would. Yeah. I know you've got a lot on at the moment, and that's what we're gonna move on to, really. So okay, let's fast forward then. If
you think I'm passionate about my gym, wait till we get fucking on about this.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is what I think. It's gonna make a few toes curl. So Danny.
Yes.
So you obviously saw your what can I say? Your work colleagues make this £1,000, and then obviously that interests you, so you became a bricklayer. Is that correct?
So they were wafting it, and I thought, right, that's it. And so that was it. I knew I wanted to become a bricklayer, and so I hounded them to teach me how to bricklay. I did a bit of college. The look of it was I picked bricklaying up pretty quick because I wanted to learn it. What I'd do is I'd get in front, I'd load out, and I'd just sit and watch. And I'd soak it up. What they were doing, unbeknown to them, I'd just soaked up how to hold the trowel. And so then when they got me on the trowel with them, it wasn't long before I picked up the trowel. I was able to do it. And so then when I went to college, I actually did a 2-year course in a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I managed to... I just managed to get through pretty quick. So much so they wanted me to do a 3rd year, but at that time, a recession come about, and so there wasn't enough people to do the college course to get the funding, and so we couldn't. But so I got into bricklaying. Okay,
so you started off just working for yourself, or do you work for a couple of companies or something?
No, we so at that time, the 2 lads that I started with, although we was on site Monday to Friday, they then went and they came off site and started doing extensions, private work, So the workload to me was far more. Running up and down the ladders, carrying lintels, carrying bricks, blocks, this and that, mixing and then trying to learn and going to the gym, trying to eat one thing or another. So I jumped ship and went with another set of lads that I knew. They were on site and they taught me more, more like theory side of things. And after a couple of years, I thought my bollocks were massive, and so I thought I'm going to go out there and on my own. I knew it all, Trev. I've been laying 2 months. I knew it all.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Right. Okay. So, so you decided to go by yourself in the big wide world of business. So what happened then? How did we go? How did we start then? So did we set a company up, or how did we work that?
So on the side, me and a good mate of mine, Steve Sargent, good mate of mine, we set up a little business between ourselves, weekend work, called Your Local Builders. Now I just need to put, whether you edit this bit out, whether I thought of the name. If Stephen Sargent gets in touch and says he didn't, he's a liar. I thought of the name, and we did that for about a year or so. I then started getting into women and booze and more lovely chemicals and one thing and another. He carried it on, and still to this day, he's still got My Local Builders.
Right.
And he's done fantastic with it. I mean, he's a massive builder. He does all kinds of stuff. I just carried on doing the bricklaying through the week and doing odd jobs and whatnot.
So you and him obviously
we parted ways on that way.
Parted ways after.
Yeah, but
a while.
we still we grew up together. We're still good mates now, although we've got kids, and things like that. We stayed fantastic mates. It's just he carried on the business.
Right.
And made it into a proper business. We set it up as 2 kids.
Right.
He's turned it into a proper bloody business, and
Okay.
I thought the name, Trev.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you you set your business up,
Yes.
and then that sort of like disintegrated, as you want to cut, if you want to say. Then so did you go alone then?
Yeah, carried on site, went on my own. Got a couple of lads working with me, bricklayer wise.
They was working for you.
Yeah,
Or
so
with you.
So normally, like, I got to a point after a while. I thought, you know what? Because we get paid a price. So, like, say 500, 1,000, 700. So, say £500 for every 1,000, 50 pence a brick. Well, then what I'd do is I'd say to the lads, look, come and work with me. I'll give you 200 quid a day. They might get 600 or 700 bricks down in the day. They met me a few hundred quid, and that's how I kind of did it, and that were great. But then, so probably take us to maybe say 25 to 30, the age of 25 to 30. That's that.
Okay. So yeah. So did you not set any businesses up then?
Well, yeah, so things were gravy then, things were good, but then we started getting a recession. And at that time, I was, young kid and one thing or another, I wanted to take on the fucking world. And of course, I was money motivated to the fucking max.
Which you've said from when you was
from when I was a kid,
10 years old, when you was taking your father's insurance money.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was always a bit of a wheeler and dealer. I loved me Del Boy. I loved me Only Fools and Horses. And so, if I could make a few quid doing whatever, I'd make a few quid doing whatever. And so, before I knew it, I'd got quite a few quid laying about and needed to get rid of it. So, I opened a coffee shop. Me and a good mate of mine who also needed to get rid of some dollar. We opened a coffee shop. We opened what we thought was just going to be a coffee shop. But little did we know it ended up turning into a fucking business. The plan was we was going to open this, I was going to go back bricklaying, and some dolly bird was going to run it, and that was that. No, it turned out it was a proper full-on business that in the space of a few months just blew up. We had loads of staff. We were open like 24 hours nearly, and it was crazy. Wow.
And that's what do you know about that business?
Nothing. I knew it made money.
So once again, it's just money driven.
Yeah, it was.
Because normally they always say, Try and stick to what you know.
No,
in
load
business.
of bollocks. Never stick to what you know.
Okay,
Never stick
you're an
to what you
exception
know.
to the rule. So
No, so in what we thought was, and again, this might drag, but so when we had the idea, it was a corner shop that was a hairdresser's, and on the other side it was a beautician's, and we had the idea of opening it up as a cafe, because what we wanted to do was we wanted to make a bit of money, and that be it. And everybody said it'd never work. That's what I feel like doing, because when people say you can't do it or this and that, and in my head I think, well, I'll fucking show you. I'm not bothered about the money then. I'm just bothered about trying to prove something.
That's the same as me.
And that's what did it. I thought, I'll fucking show you. I know it's going to work, and I'll show you. And it worked. Far more than anybody thought. I mean, so basically we set it up, me and my mate. Unfortunately, he wanted out of it just because the workload. We started off at one shop. Within, say, 3 months, I sourced some of the best ingredients from around the area. Welbeck Garden, Welbeck Estate, multi-prize-winning butchery and bakery and whatnot. Well, once you put that in your shop, fucking hell, people were coming from all over because they knew the quality was there. They didn't have to go all the way to Welbeck for it. Then I brought in Junior Chef of the Year, Derbyshire Junior Chef of the Year. Fucking hell, the food, amazing. So we'd gone from like this bacon butty place to then proper decent food. And before we knew it, there was literally queuing up all the way down outside the shop, all the way down the street. And I'm saying to my mate, because we was going to open the other side as a sunbed shop. That was another, we thought, great, sunbed shop, yeah, we'll make some money on that. And then in end we're like, we can't. We need the space. We need more seats. So we knocked through this other place, took that on, and then that's when I started turning it, doing evening meals, all you can eat, fucking day snap, and we tried to do it as much as we could to get the full value out the place, and it was great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
So let's move forward then. Let's get to the nitty-gritty, the thing what we're here for. Let's get brutally.
Don't talk about it, Trev.
Let's get brutally honest, and that's what this podcast is all about. That's the name of the podcast. As I said, brutally honest. Mm-hmm. So we've spoken about your coffee shop. Obviously, you're interested in money. Now, I know you did tell me. Well, you have told me that a little bit about your business venture. Which is an interesting story regarding your properties. So, can we share that information with us, the viewers?
Yeah.
So, you bought a property then, is that why? So, let's go back. What year did you buy your first property?
So, I'd had enough of the bricklaying. Never had a mortgage up until 5 years ago. I was still renting because, again, I believed in my head, if I save up and get a mortgage, I'd rather buy a mortgage for a property that needs renovating because I'll make money on it. I was never bothered about setting roots in a new property. So that was always the dream. I'd been a builder, bricklayer, then builder and whatnot, and done this work for many, many people, renovated houses and done extensions. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it for myself. So a good friend of mine, it was like a father figure, kind of took me under his wing and one thing or another, but he was a brilliant mate of mine. He unfortunately had a car accident, disabled, couldn't work. So anyway, I wanted to buy a house. I'd seen this house and I mentioned just off the, look, I'm looking at this house, I think I'm going to go for this house, blah blah. And he says, look, I'll help you out with it. I can't work, but I've got the money. You can do the work, but you haven't got the money. So let's come together. We'll do a joint venture on it. Oh, fucking brilliant! Great. So that was it. So I bought my first house. 290,000. We bought the house for.
So what year was that then? How old was you?
So that was 5 years ago. So I was 33. 33, 2018, August 2018. I got the keys for it.
So this was a property what you know that you renovated.
Yeah.
So you bought. So it was a rundown property. What
Yeah.
you initially bought.
Yeah, I bought it for 290 grand off a guy. He was in his 90s. I'm just trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name at the minute. But yeah, in his 90s. And it was a detached 4-bed, huge house, a huge plot of land for 290 grand. I mean, I snapped their hands off. I mean, we stole that house, to be fair. I mean, you'd never get out like that in today's... You just wouldn't, I don't think, still.
Right. Okay, excellent. So you renovated that.
Mm-hmm.
So just you and just by yourself, or do you have a team?
Well, so we picked that house up. Now, before that house, there was another house. And it was a big... it was an end terraced, and I knew about this house for many years. I used to live next door to it, and I fucking every bloody day I'm going to buy that house, I'm going to buy that house. The opportunity never came up, and just as freaking luck would have it, we bought this first house, Craigard, and the next minute, within 2 or 3 weeks of me moving in, this other house popped up for sale. So I was like, fucking hell. I said to me, I said, bloody hell, can you believe it? Because we was only talking about it a few weeks before, and he says, well, look, if you want it, get it. Oh, fucking hell, great, okay. So we got that one as well. So within space of a couple of months, we'd got 2 houses.
Wow.
So that one we paid 51.5 for at auction. So
Was that so that's an end terrace?
that's an end terrace, the one you know about.
Yeah, and the one is that the how many bedrooms is that one?
Well, originally it had 3 bedrooms. When I was done with it, it had 6,
Right.
4 bathrooms.
So it was So that was an old terrace.
Yes.
I needed loads of work again.
Yes.
So you've invested a load of money into
Yes.
that property and made it into 6 bedrooms.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
A lot of the work we did ourselves. I gave up work. I got some of my mates, some of the lads who I've known for many years in the trades and whatnot, and we set about. So Craigard, so that end terrace we put on the back burner. We just secured it, put it on the back burner for a bit. We did all the work and concentrated on the big house first that we bought because we had to get that over the line. So we did all the work. And we did a good stand. Well, we did it to a high fucking spec. I mean, when it was finished, we bought it for 290. We just the house. We didn't touch any of the garden. They valued it at round about 450,000, and we'd spent at that time about 40 grand on it.
So what did you have in that 100 grand?
Yeah, we had about 100 grand in it.
Yeah.
Well, and at that time, then we'd got the terraced. And so we started doing the work on the terraced, and we spent 70 grand on the terraced. But then that was valued originally. They'd valued that at 240,000 when it was finished.
Wow.
So yeah,
So
and
it
again,
Yeah.
it was. It was 6 bedrooms, 4 or 5 bathrooms. We knocked it all about. We did all the work ourselves, went into the attic, everything. So majority of the time we did the work ourselves.
So you've got these 2 properties.
Yeah.
You've renovated them.
Yep.
The plan was to rent them or to sell them.
To sell them. I never wanted to do rentals. My dad did rentals, and I mean the stories that he would tell me about some of the tenants he'd get, I just thought, you know what, sod that. And not only that, I wanted to build my pot up. It was all about building my pot up because
Once again, the cash.
because I wanted to get into new builds. I wanted to build my own houses. That was the goal.
To get into that.
To build my own houses, to buy the land, build my own houses, because that's where the money were.
Okay, excellent.
For what I felt like, anyway.
So did you put these properties on the market, or did you what else did you do?
So so we had a bit of trouble. So we did Craigard, and then obviously we bought the one at Sheffield Road. As we bought that one, because I'd got nowhere to live, we stayed in Craigard. We stayed in the first house, and we marketed the second house, the end terraced. In that time, because I'd got lads working for me, with doing as a bricklayer builder, there's one thing I did learn, and that is when you've got good people around you, you keep them. What you don't want to do is let them go on other jobs. And so what I did was I bought a bungalow. I bought another bungalow. I paid 90,000 for this bungalow, and at this point then I was started doing all these property, what they called like PPN was one of them. I got into like property Facebook groups, and then you go once a month and you meet other property folk and everything like that. Networking. And I met investors, and what I was doing was I was putting my work out there on Facebook and social media, and investors would come into me. You know, they could see the value with what I was doing and whatnot, and they was quite happy to invest. And so I'd got different bits of money. I wasn't then particularly using my own money. I was, using other people's money. That was the
clever.
deal.
That's a clever way to do business.
Yeah. So I bought a bungalow, 90,000. Again, we did all the work to that. Did it all ourselves. I was on the tools at that, but I was starting to come off a little bit, because I'd got another business, buying and selling business. That property got valued. Well, it got valued. They said the ceiling price were 120, but I'd heard that on the other two, and we smashed the ceiling prices. And again, we smashed the ceiling price again by another 20 grand on this bungalow. That again was round about 2020, and then COVID started happening in one thing or another. And folk were out of work, family, friends were out of work, and again, I didn't want to lose them, and I thought, well, I'm in a position to help them help me in a way. So what I did was I bought another bungalow.
So you bought the fourth property.
Yeah.
So okay.
So I bought another bungalow.
And what kind of time period is this then? So we're looking
2 years.
Over the 24 months.
In 24 months, I'd gone from zero, living in a rented accommodation with no mortgage, no nothing, to over 1.1 million in property on paper in space of 2 years, and another business.
Wow.
And my construction company and everything. In space of 2 years. Okay. That ball was rolling. Everything was happening. It was great. It was lovely. It was busy.
Oh, excellent. I mean, that's impressive. So within a couple of years, you've amounted this kind of assets, construction company, and you're buying and selling business as well. So you was financially, you've actually got there. You've made the money that you was, since you wanted to do when you was taking your father's that money from the putting it in your little piggy bank.
Yeah.
So
just to backtrack, so I've got to put it in. Sorry, I've got to put it in.
Yeah.
But growing up, me and my grandma, years ago, hula hoops. Can you remember hula hoops?
Yes.
My grandma had made me some sandwiches, and gave me my packet of hula hoops. And whilst I'm eating these, I pulled this hula hoop. And she goes, "Oh, look at this!" And it all spiralled. And I ate it. Next minute, my grandma's took my plate away and thrown it. Next minute, she screamed, "Oh, Daniel!" Oh. I'm like, what? She's come running in. And on the packet of hula hoops, if you find a spiralled hula hoop, you won 50 grand. And I'd eaten it. Right? So from that point on, there was a joke between me and my grandma. I'm going to be a millionaire, Grandma. I'm worth something. I'm destined to win it. I'm destined to be big. And this is when I was a kid as well.
Yeah.
So all of this shit, it all mounted up. The aspirations were there. And I finally had it. I promised my grandma I was going to be a millionaire. And you could tell, growing up, they used to think, yeah, of course you are. He's not. Of course. And that's how it felt. But I didn't mind it, because it was, I thought, I'll prove you wrong. Like I do with the cafe, like I try and do with everything else. I thought, I don't give a fuck. I know. And to finally be there, fair enough, I'd not got $1 million in the bank, but to be sat on paper with everything that I'd got going around me in the space of 2 years, and with everything that we'd got projected, it was a matter of time.
Well, I must add. I mean, I know before we actually, we started filming today. We estimated that net worth is around £5 million today. So that's where you would have actually. That's how much money you'd have been sat on in assets.
Yeah, I think
Around
we
that.
bought land. Yeah.
And with everything, so that is quite a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So all these properties you bought, these businesses, everything sounds like life was good.
It was fucking gravy. I mean, it was at the point where I was talking to my mum about going on holiday and getting business class, getting first class, just to try it out, because I thought, as I say, because everything was sold. We'd sold the houses, and I knew what was coming back in. I knew what we'd owed out and loan to that and everything like that. And like I say, projection wise, I knew we'd just bought a load of land with another investor to build houses. I'd made it. Everything that I wanted to do, I'd done. And the money, and as I say, you'd look at the big picture and you think, right, in another, say, 12 months, you've done what you want. You've made it. You've fucking made it.
Yeah.
And everybody around you, and all them naysayers, and all them people that doubted you, and all them things. I didn't feel like going like that, but I just felt like saying, you know what? I appreciate you didn't believe it, but you did. I said I'd do it.
Awesome.
And,
yeah, definitely. I mean,
it was a good feeling.
Awesome. Very, very good. So, moving forward, I mean, so these properties, I mean, did you manage to sell these properties or, No.
Nope.
So, you want to tell me what happened?
So I lost a lot.
What do you mean you lost a lot? Did you fall out your pocket and when you was walking around? How did you lose?
It came out quicker than what it would have done that way. Honestly, I mean, so everything was hunky-dory, everything was sold. We'd done all the properties. We'd smashed the fucking ceiling, everything like that. What I did was I gave them to conveyancing, and this was all around about COVID time. Conveyancing solicitors were dragging. They were using that old excuse, it's COVID. Well, no, fucking good to me, because I'd got a bridge loan on one of them. And unfortunately,
so for those people who don't understand,
yeah,
a bridge loan, because I'm aware of a bridge loan.
Yeah.
So what is a bridge loan?
So a bridge loan, they do them in. So basically, it's a loan where they fund, on my particular way they did it, they would fund so much towards the purchase of a property, and also so much, sometimes all, of the renovation cost. And instead of charging you a monthly fee every month that you take it for 12 months, you don't have to pay it every month. They roll it up, and at the end, it's a high interest loan basically, but I've used them before, and they're great. They do work as long as you get a good, reputable company, which unfortunately I didn't on one of them. And so, if you want, so basically I took a bridge loan on one of the bungalows. They were for 12 months, and I called them up. They told me this is setting up the bridge loan, before we signed contracts, what they wanted to do was do a video call to go through the loan and everything. So yeah, we did that. They basically went through everything. They gave me a sheet that they printed off on their side and I had to print off. They went through the questions, signed it all. One of the questions was an extension. The facility to extend should I need to be at 2.5%. Everything were great. Signed it all. Job's your uncle. We got the loan. Cracked on. About a month or so before the loan was due to be repaid back, it was evident that one of the houses was still dragging with conveyancing. Nothing to do with us. It was with solicitors. I called the bridge loan company up to extend, to use the facility. They denied it me, straight down over the phone. Made out they didn't know what the hell I were talking about. There was no way I could extend. And so I had a bit of an argument with her over the phone. Next minute, she's like, well, you've got to pay us 10 grand. What the fucking hell am I paying you 10 grand for? Default charges. I said, I ain't defaulted. I said, I'm still in term. So next, I said, you know what? I've fucking had enough of this. My grandma had passed away only a few weeks before. And I'd got me other business, everything, you know. So next minute, I rung my broker, said to my broker, yo, this is happening. They're trying to charge me this and that. They're not going to give me this extension. He says, no, that's not right. He says, let me ring them. So my broker called them up. He then rang me back. He says, you not believe this? I says, what? He says, they've told me if I bring them more business, they'll lower it. I says, you what? He says, yeah. He says, obviously I've agreed it just to get this over the line. So they agreed to lower the fee down to the 2.5%. Originally they tried charging me 4%. They dropped it down to the 2.5, which was the 5 grand. So we agreed it. The very next morning, they sent me an email saying, well, not only do they want the 5 grand, we now want additional security. And I didn't have a fucking clue. It was the first time I've ever done it, you know.
So let's just go back a little bit. And so the bridge loan company, we won't mention any names.
Well, I'd love to mention the fucking names, I tell you now, because I want them fucking drawn up.
All right, okay. So they reneged on the deal what you've actually signed.
Yeah.
And you had that in writing.
I've got it in writing, and the best part is the video that they recorded, not me, it was them. They've lost it. So I was jumping ahead here, but we obviously did a systems access request. The solicitor told me systems access request. Oh, they've lost fucking loads of shit.
Oh, they've lost it.
They've lost it. But what they did do, had got the paperwork that they'd signed and one of the voice recordings, just one voice recording from another time. But the other stuff, they'd lost.
Yeah, it's gone missing accidentally on purpose.
Yeah.
So this bridge loan, it's not a loan shark. It's a reputable company.
I mean, you can knock them out. I mean, like I say, you can cut it out, whatever. But it's Hope Capital. They're fucking Hope Capital Limited. They're reputable, you know, all online and one thing or other. The problem is none of them, or a lot of them, are not regulated, FCA regulated and one thing or another. Now, they are part of their own body. They do join other bodies, particularly the ASTL, Association Small Term Lenders. They were fantastic with me. Because what happened was, when all this happened, because there was more to it, as soon as all this, I rang them up, and they were shocked and sent it straight to the chairman of the ASTL, and he was a guy called Vic Jangles, and he rang me up, wanted me to explain, and I told him, and straight away, oh no, we're not having this, blah 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 blah. To cut it short, he got the director of Hope Capital in his office, basically told him, look, you put Mr. McGregor right, because what you've done is completely out of order. You've not followed the rules, you've not followed the code of conduct, you've not followed anything that we stand and, you know, try to have our members do. Basically told him to bollocks. Fucking went out. So he called me up and said, look, if you take these to court, we're going to come in your defence. And not only that, we'll bring the founder of the ASTL, because what they've done is completely out of order. I mean, he believed that what they'd done was bullied me into default. That's where they was. That's where they was with it.
Right. Okay.
So
obviously, it's very, very.
I mean, that's like jumping forward. What Hope Capital did at that point, like I say, they wanted more security. So we agreed it. We gave him more security. We everything they asked for, we did. To the point where they just dragged it till it went over the date of paying the loan back, so that they could do what they did. and we've found out now the insolvency company that they used were part of Hope Capital Limited. They were connected.
So, do you think it's corruption?
Fucking hell yeah. Absolutely. I mean, forget your friends and forget your family. When you're talking to people, solicitors, governing bodies, property people who know the fields, and they're all saying they're in cahoots, they're in bed on it. You know, when you hear that a million fucking times from people that don't need to tell it you start believing. I knew it anyway. We knew because of the way they acted. The insolvency company that they used jumped on us so quick that they then tried to charge me $100,000. And yet all the houses were sold. And when our solicitor called them up to say, right, we're ready to complete. You complete today, Mr. McGregor won't lose everything, and you will get all your money back. They turned around and said, no, we're not having it. And what they did was they charged me £100,000 for the pleasure of that, and gave Hope Capital an extra 20 grand back on top of their money. And then one of the companies, Begbie's Trainer, country's biggest insolvency practitioners or whatever for multi-million pound companies, luckily my accountant was good friends with the director or whatever of that company. He sent everything through to them to have a look at, because he knew like my accountant says, no, it's not right. You know, they had look at it and he said, no, this is not right.
So let me just I'll go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Your accountant was on your side.
Yeah.
You said that the other person, their body.
Yeah. ASTL.
Yeah, the ASTL.
Yeah. The chairman at the ASTL.
So they said that this is wrong.
Yeah.
Is anybody else? Did you get a solicitor?
I had solicitors. I had 2 or 3 solicitors all look at it and all believed. I mean, so one of them basically said, look, she called me back and her words were, I think they're in bed together. And I says, funny you should say that because we all do as well. That was off the cuff. One of the other solicitors, he said, do you know, in all the years that I've done this, I've never seen practices like it. The problem was that when I was looking at it, I was fighting bankruptcy. I'd been through court nearly 15 times. I was watching my whole world just crumble. So I couldn't throw money at solicitors, but they wanted like 50 grand. I was getting quoted 50 grand, 80 grand. So I had to just put it to bed for a minute until.
So just so we can clarify, you had a number of solicitors say that you're in the right.
Yeah.
But you just didn't have the finances to defend yourself because you don't get legal aid on these things.
No, because they're not FCA registered.
Right. So you have your accountant. You've got all these different bodies, brokers, all saying
property developers, property investors. I mean, these guys are millionaires. I mean, they're not just somebody with a few quid. They're people who have done this for years and years. You know, in fact, other bridge loan companies that I were dealing with, they couldn't believe it. I was telling, because I'd got a bridge with another company. I was explaining what was going off. They couldn't believe what was going off.
Right. Okay, and you had everything in writing, in black and white.
Yeah.
You went to court.
No, I didn't go to court regarding them. I've been so over the last 2 years since 2021, when them buggers did what they started to do.
Let me just get it right so everybody understands. The insolvency company came in.
Yeah.
They was trying to bankrupt you. Is that correct?
So basically what we believe is the insolvency company that they use, which is CG & Co, they're the same company, basically. They've been running together for years and years and years. And as soon as they came in, they tried to shut me down straight away. But because I fought them tooth and nail, and Begbie's Trainer then got involved, because they says, no, the insolvency company's at wrong here. They've tried to block you out of an important meeting and one thing or another. We're going to help you for nothing. We're going to fuck... And so they did. Bigby's trainer stepped in and helped me deal with these dickheads. And they didn't like it. But in the end, they managed to get it through. But what they probably wanted was... Because I promised, I says, I'll tell you now, you can do what you want, but I'll take you to court. I'll fight you all the way, and I will sue you. One way or another, I'll do you. And I believe that what they wanted to do was try and shut me down as much as they could by trying to bankrupt me, and so I'd got no money to fight it in one thing or another, and that's what they did. That's what they did. But in the end, they didn't get away with it. Another company did, because obviously then it brought on financial difficulties and everything like that. So what I did was I just put it to bed whilst I did everything else, whilst I had to sort everything else out, and we're over that hill at the minute, and we'll be going back to them twats soon.
Right. Okay. So that's obviously in the future. So what actually happens then? So they obviously was trying to go to. They wanted your properties. That's what they wanted.
So Hope Capital, as I say, they agreed to drop it down to $5,000. So that was great. But then the next morning they wanted additional security. So I said to my broker...
This is the bridge.
This was the bridge company. The bridge company.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I didn't understand. But I rung the broker. I said, look, they've sent me this email, wanted additional security. He says, yeah, they're going to want another house to put security. So I said, you know what, David? Just give him fucking everything. I said, just give him everything I've got. Just tell him everything I've got. So we wrote them an email. Now, some people say you shouldn't have done this. Some people said you should have done it. I believed I should have done it. I just wanted the fucking thing sorted. So we gave them an email with everything wrote down, with all the properties, what they was worth, and what the mortgages were on them. The fact that they was all sold as well, under offer. And so what they did was they chose another property to have a kind of like security against, which was another bungalow. There was only a mortgage of about 60 grand on it, but it was selling. We'd got an offer through with things for 170. So we'd got £110,000 to come back to me. So what they wanted was, they was basically saying, look, if our property, which was Morven Street, doesn't sell, if Morven Street doesn't sell before Shakespeare does, we'll use Shakespeare. If Shakespeare sells first, we'll use the £110,000 profit to pay us back, because we owed him about 85 grand. So I says, that's fine. I'll fucking do that then, great. So that's what we agreed. But then what they wanted was, they wanted my solicitor and their solicitor to draw up like an undertaking or whatever it was to get it legal. So I said, that's fine. Well, the solicitor and their solicitor had to bounce back emails to get the wording right and one thing or another. It only took a few days. Say that started on the Monday, but by the Friday, and I know it was on the Friday, my solicitor sent them the final draft, the final whatever, for them to sign in one thing or another. Well, we didn't hear anything. We got fuck all back. So fair enough. I went to the bungalows on the weekend to just check, and these letters stuck all over my fucking houses. So what the fuck? So I assumed, I'm looking at them, and I thought, have I not paid the council tax? Normally, whenever we buy a house, they're uninhabitable, so we get free council tax. You don't have to pay council tax for 12 months or whatever, or up to 12 months. So I couldn't fucking work it out. So anyway, went home, sent them through to my solicitor. The Monday morning, my solicitor rang me up. He says, are you sat down? I'm like, no, come on, what's up? He says, no, seriously, you sat down. I'm like, yeah, fine, what's up? He says, Danny, he says, they're going to take you for everything you've got. And I went, what are you on about? He says, Danny, he says, they've sent it to the insolvency anyway. He says, let me tell you, you are their wet dream. I says, what on earth are you on about? He says, well, look, he says, basically, they've led us all down the garden path, us included. He says, and now they know everything you've got, they're gonna take the lot. And I thought, well, hold on, we've agreed everything. We've agreed $5,000. We've agreed more security. We've agreed to send the fucking letter. Not only that, we've agreed it 12 fucking months, 13 months prior on a video call and on signed paperwork. What the fucking hell are you on about? Couldn't get it through my head. But sure enough, yeah. So, after that, there was some my solicitors were trying to fucking sort it all out with the insolvency company. And then one of the buyers called up, say, right, we're now ready to complete. We can complete this week. So my solicitors called.
That would have given you cash what you needed.
Exactly. So, and one of the other properties, the big terraced house, as opposed to selling it, because that kind of fell through, we then started putting that on a buy-to-let. So we was putting that on a buy-to-let. We could pull out, say, 80% of what it was worth. That time's 80%, probably 75 or 70% now. But still, we could have pulled enough money out to pay the cunts back anyway, but we just needed a few weeks. That was in the process. Still won't. But we'd got a buyer, and the buyer's solicitors were saying, right, we are ready to complete. My solicitors called the insolvency company up. Yeah, we're ready to complete. This was like a week or so. No more than a week. 4 days, I think it was. 4 to 5 days after they took control. No, won't fucking let it. And so if they'd allowed it to go through, their client... Now, bearing in mind, insolvency companies are supposed to be sat on the fence. As far as I'm aware, they're not for you, they're not for that. They're for the goodness of every bugger.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, not these bastards. Now, what they should have done, or what we believe they should have done, was allowed it, took the fucking buyer, let the buyer pay. Their client would have got the money back, and we would have avoided the loss of everything. The millions we've lost, the bankruptcy, I've lost my home, I've lost the fucking lot. And them bastards charged or tried to charge me £120,000 for that service. And they gave the loan company an extra 20 grand out of it. That, to me, is not fucking just. That, to me, is not fair. And like I said, when everybody looks at it, they're just fucking flabbergasted with it. I could understand it if we fucked up. I could understand it if we'd have spent the money on beer or booze or clothes. We didn't. We did all the work. Everything was done. It was all in conveyancing. That was it. What? No to do with us. It was with conveyancing. And we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. We rang up for an extension, which we was told we was able to do at the very beginning. But them bastards denied it me at the very first instance. And if they'd agreed it, at the second I rang them up and said, I need to extend, it should be 2.5%, 5 grand, that'd have been it. But instead, they kept, like ASTL said, just fucking bullied the shit out of me and pushed and kept moving the goalposts that many times that eventually they got what they wanted, which was to fuck me over.
You know, obviously to the people who are watching, and they'll probably be scratching their head and thinking, and this is a legitimate, reputable company.
Well, they think there is. They think they are.
You know,
the problem is there is other customers that they've done it to. I know there is because I've got them. I've got other customers that they've done it to. The problem is there's not many reviews or whatever. You always hear the good side. You never hear the bad side. Well, that's the bad side. What they've done.
Wow. I mean, this is you know, unbelievable that this can actually go on.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, you know, when a legitimate businessman's trying to, you know, run a legal, legitimate business, and you're being hammered. Somebody's nicked your money and your properties, and they're supposed to be a big, you know, a company for what anybody can go to. It's, you know, it sounds unbelievable. So obviously, it is a distressing time for you, obviously. So where are you right now? I mean, you know, what happened? You lost a lot.
I've lost a lot. I lost all my businesses. I lost everything. And as we are right here, I mean, I've come today, but I'm in the middle of moving because I've been evicted from my home.
So you right now are homeless?
Well, up until a week ago, because once you're bankrupt, I mean, this is
so you're all bankrupt.
I'm now bankrupt. They made me bankrupt.
What does bankrupt mean?
Bankrupt means they've strip me of everything, all my financial, anything, any
No banks.
assets, no banks. I can't have a
What
normal
about-
bank.
You have a car.
No, they took the car. When you can't have
What-
anything of value more than like £1,000, basically.
What car did you used to drive?
I
think
used to have a Mercedes GLE. The car were nice, you know. But
nice car. That's
a
gone.
nice car, yeah. I had a nice car. I had a lovely house. I had no issue. I had no money worries, no nothing. I had,
And what about your children? Or
yeah, my little boy Charlie.
so he's lost a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. Everything I've done, I never drenched myself in nice clothes. I had a nice car because I deserved it, and not only that, for work, really. You know, when you meet another investor in one thing or another, I used to turn up in a clapped out fucking estate, 500 quidder. That's how I've ever done it. You know, being a brickie, that's all we ever needed. So I bought a car. I deserved it. And not only that, my son was travelling in it. You know, I wanted him to be safe. But everything I've ever done was never for me to enjoy. It was because my boy, when he gets to my age, I don't want him to have to go through the shit that I went through to get to where I got. I wanted to be able to make sure that when he wanted a car, he'd have a car. When he needed driving lessons, he'd have driving lessons. When he needed a deposit, he'd have a deposit for a house. When he needed, if he got any trouble with money, it was there. It was at the back of my head. It was always about making sure that not only I was financially secure, but he was financially secure more than ever. Right. And they stripped him of it. They stripped him of the lot.
Wow. So I mean, thanks, Danny, for sharing. You know, this very, very strange, unusual situation. What's happened to you? I mean, it's episode 1 on our podcast. And I think just for the guys out there, we are, as I said, we're a brand new channel. I want you to like and subscribe, you know, to the channel, because we are going to be getting more guests. So Danny, that we're just going to finish off. So moving forward, you know, where do you think your life is going to go from here?
I'm thinking about doing more of these with you. You know, that's where it's going to.
Yeah. Apart from that, you know, financially, financially, you're screwed. I mean,
well, look, do you know what, mate? Again, I mean, hopefully, me and you, we can do this again, and because, you know, on the outside, yeah, you're financially fucking screwed, yeah, and you can go two ways with this. You can either look at it and believe that way, or what you can do is think, like I've said before, all these people around you saying, no, you go like that, and you think, I'm going to fucking show you.
But let me ask you, put a question to you.
Yeah.
So when all this was going on,
yeah,
there's a legitimate business,
yeah,
getting rinsed by,
yeah.
You may as well call them gangsters in a way, from what you're saying to
they're
me.
fucking knobs. Yeah.
You know, mentally, where did you want? How did you feel? Mentally, physically, spiritually, where did you feel your life was, and where did you want to go?
You know, so
what did you want to do?
You know, it's every single day. I mean, I've had, you know, for 10 years, 10, 15 years, my mental health, going through business, you know, it's never easy. Because you're putting yourself under stress, you're living a life that not everybody lives as regards you want better things. Like I said, if I'd have been that sheep and done a 9 to 5, and that great, but we purposely put ourselves through that, so I can't moan too much. But you get stressed, mental health, blah blah blah. Where this put me, it every day. I mean, even like now. I mean, not so much now, but. You know, I can understand why people fucking kill themselves. I can understand why people, you know, suicide and one thing or another. I get it. But it would never ever be an option.
Hold that thought right there. Let's come back and explain to me, you know, on episode 2, you know, what did you what were you going to do in the future?
Sweet.
You know, so I don't want to take it, you know, I can see that this is pretty difficult for you. Let's do it another time. Let's do episode 2, because I know you've got some more, things to explain on this situation. So let's leave it there. But just to wrap up now, thank you very much for coming on today's podcast.
Been a pleasure.
You know, no, it's been really good. And I want to definitely get you back because I know there's something more that you want to get off your chest. So let's leave it there.
Can I just say one thing?
Say one thing.
You know what? Like you say, out of all of this, you meet some great people. You know, I've met some, in all of the badness that was coming along with it, you meet folk along the way that you probably never think you'd meet, one thing or another. And meeting you has been one of them people. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've got to take the positives out of the bad situations. And you've been a great friend in such a short time that we've known each other. Like, here we are again today.
Yeah,
It's, you know, so, yeah, thank you ever so much. It's,
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're wrapping up now. So, thank you for watching the first episode of Brutally Honest, you know, down at the Olympia Health and Fitness. If you are looking for a good gym, we are situated on Rutland Road, 175 Rutland Road. Also, please do remember to support our charity, the Olympia Wellbeing Academy. It's a good cause. We are fighting the fight against antisocial behaviour and knife crime. Okay, guys, Trevor Crouch, aka Mr. T, out.